Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have only one question for Ravi. आपने शेरो शायरी तो कर दी सर, पर आप कहना क्या चाहते हो? Sir, if we put that शेरो शायरी probably in chat GPT, it will and ask it, आप कहना क्या चाहते हो? Chances are it will probably be given an answer for the layman like me. I have a lot of respect for Gulzar Saab, but Shero Shairi is the reason I have probably lost all my hair. Well, getting back into the technology space, I wanted to wear a cowboy hat because of the movie The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, but then I said I can't crack a joke about my fantastic mane of hair. So I said I'll skip the cap. The fact is that the panel discussion that we just had set the stage for my talk brilliantly. I love the way everyone is discussing about the human aspect of insurance, the customer experience, how important it is. There is IoT, there is AI, ML, blockchain. But let me ask you a simple question. Maybe a decade ago, if we had said that there is blockchain and we should incorporate all kinds of latest cutting edge technology, we would all have taken a step back saying, yeah, we are not sure. Do you all agree? Something changed in the last 6 months. People got their cravings answered. Chat GPT came to the stage and you could actually converse with a system which could understand you as a human in the context of a human, answer you in that context, continue the conversation. Maybe you want to say, you know what, I want to go to Singapore. Can you tell me the things I like to do there? And it will go and find out 10 things that you want to do in Singapore. But you know, I have a fear of heights. Tell me again. And Chat GPT will actually give you the activities which do not involve vertigo, which do not involve anything to do with height. Suddenly you have a feeling of a personalized, humanized experience with artificial intelligence. Very often a lot of people just say AI, ML together, right? Machines are learning. For once in the last 6 months, that stuff got real. Artificial intelligence actually became intelligent. Now, at Josh Software, we are not a product company, we are a services company. We believe in building innovative solutions. And like you already said, I always come unprepared for a talk and try to figure out if Ravi is giving a Gulzar, if you're talking about Gulzar, I need to actually pick it up and adapt. We've been doing this for the last 15 years. We're a technology company. For all those who cringe at coding, I'm the founder of Josh and I still code today. I code for all who understand, I code in Golang. My team of about 450 people spread across India, Pune, Bangalore, Dubai, Singapore and the US. We're all technologists. But our DNA is do something different. So we started experimenting with generative AI. Now everyone thought of AI. Generative AI kya hai? The G of Chat GPT is generative. Because today we can actually generate information, not just interpret information like a search result. We are actually interacting with a machine which understands like a human, speaks, talks like a human. Well, it even draws like a human. The image that you see there, not of the astronaut on the horse, but the other image of a beautiful rendering is oil on canvas. It's a digital art which was submitted to an online art competition and won the competition. It is AI generated art. Now the question is, who wins? The concept of prompt engineering is new today. It may be a new term for everyone here, but it is something that you all decision makers will hear over the next 5 years. If it was AI, ML, blockchain 10 years ago, I would have said a decade. But the pace at which artificial intelligence is really getting intelligent is exponential. The next 5 years is all about asking the right question to get the right answer. Can you write code? You can write code today. You can actually talk to a large language model, an LLM, or in other words, ChatGPT, and say, can you please write me, can you build a website for me which has an image of an astronaut on a horse, and I want it to be web responsive, and it will generate that entire web page for you. And then you say, hang on, wait, I don't want it in HTML. Can you build React components out of it? It will build you React components for that website that you wanted. Have we just made programmers obsolete? No. But have we made life easier for all of us? Yes. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what I'm going to talk to you all about today. Now, by no means am I here to tell you all generative AI is awesome. I am here to tell you all what is good, what is bad, and what is ugly about the next generation of AI. It always starts with something really nice. I loved the last question in the panel. For those who weren't here, I'll repeat that question. The question was very simple. As an insurance company, you have a huge insurance policy, maybe 15-page document, front and back in minimal font. But ultimately, as a common consumer, question तो वापस वही है, sir, आप कहना क्या चाहते हो? And if you feed this policy document and all the related document, all the entire FAQ as a whole bunch of textual information into a large language model, it will automatically start answering questions about insurance policies the way a human wants to understand it. Which means, if you ask about, I don't know how to settle a claim, and it gives you an answer which you don't understand, you say, dude, I didn't understand this, make it simpler. It will rephrase everything and put it out in simpler terms. And you go the distance, I still didn't understand, please don't write, just give it to me in 4 sentences, man. And this is how you can interact. Please give me just 4 sentences, man. Or what the hell, dude? Just tell me what I'm supposed to do. And it will reply. There's a famous joke on ChatGPT. Try it out yourself. What is 2 plus 2? It says the answer is 4. My wife said it's 5. And ChatGPT will reply, please believe your wife, I may be wrong. This kind of intelligence is not fed in. The system is predicting, system is adapting, system is learning. Now imagine how cool it will be if we can lend this technology into following a money trail, finding a spend pattern, asking, interacting with the user in their own way, with their permission, and telling them what would help. You know what? I know I'm asking you because as a friend, I can help you. Would it be okay if I guide you to a particular store in a particular city for a particular thing because you want to? And you know what? That yellow dress might actually look good on you, but that short skirt might not. Talk about risk assessment. Talk about a way in which we are trying to ensure that we minimize the risk. If we are able to get a humanized context, a human context in a machine, we can not only be more productive, we can also be reliable. Now, everyone here knows that technology is important. Very often, we mistake the RPA for AI. Robotic process automation just sounds complicated. In simple words, workflow process. If this happens, do this. If not, then do this. These workflows are in your head as businessmen anyway. You know your job really well. You know what your teams are supposed to do. We want to automate it not because we want to make people redundant, but we want to make them more efficient. The generative AI is not about efficiency. It's about predictability. You understand, learn from existing patterns, and then figure out a way. I'll repeat my last few words, and figure out a way. I need to get from Radisson Blu to North Goa Airport in Mopa. I want to figure out a way that I get there in 34 minutes. Let me know what I should do. This is not information. This is learning. You're asking for help, and the system is generating this information from its past experience and learning. If you all are not aware of Index GPT, it is still in concept phase by JP Morgan Chase. They are talking about Index GPT, which will help you pick securities. Are they going to make the investment bankers, wealth managers, portfolio managers redundant? No. But they are going to guide the common person who decides, you know what, I don't know what to do, please help me. That's what we are looking for. But it is not enough. We have to be aware of when things go wrong. Having said all this, for the sake of discussion, interpreting a Gulzar share can only be efficient by a large amount of data over a large amount of time. Fitting a chat GPT model is not as easy as we think it is. It is not only time consuming, it is also expensive. Chat GPT was over 7 years spending over hundreds of millions of dollars just on learning, compute, data, aggregation, storage. So it is not everyone's cup of tea. The same way 10 years ago, people were a little hesitant to adopt IoT, blockchain, machine learning. This way, we should be aware of the concerns. The reason I'm mentioning this today is because there are decision makers in the room. And when your tech team comes up and says, let's do something with ChatGPT, remember that the ROI is an issue. Because consumer experience, customer surveys, chatbots are awesome. You have to define the price, the budget. It is not everyone's cup of tea. Add to it that these are human intervention models where you're going to teach the models about what it should be done. You do not want to be biased. You do not want to be exclusive or disallow a loan because of a risk profile which was fed in or interpreted wrong or taught wrong to the machine. Data privacy is paramount. Rules, regulation are critical. There are issues around this where we are looking at how to solve these problems. But let's get down to the really ugly part of it. Online KYC today has become a norm. Everyone wants to get online. You can do your online KYC. How about if I am able to intercept my webcam feed, morph my face, swap my face, transform my face into something else for a KYC. And that's just one of the things. This is open source technology available today freely for people to use. The good part is that it's open source. So for every exploitation, there is always a solution. But that does not mean that we should not be aware of these things. Let me tell you all what is the next generation of phishing. Phishing is about getting us sensitive details. Put out a scenario. I build a bot which is customized for targeting a person's social media profile. The bot knows only my Facebook handle. It will find out from my Facebook handle what all my other social media links are, find out about my family profile, find out that I have only one daughter, find out that she's a teenager, that she's on a two-wheeler, create a scenario that she has met with an accident, generate a voice call to me saying, I am Patil standing on the side of the road speaking in vernacular. Is this your daughter? I found her iCard. I need to unlock her phone because the ambulance person is asking me to make payment. There is no money. Can you transfer funds to me? You should receive an OTP now. Could you please tell me what it is? We've all heard about stories. Everyone has seen Jamtara. Imagine the next generation of automation can be voice, video, images, text, all customized, learning to exploit. Reality is around the corner and it will happen. AI can set its own goals. And I'll give you an analogy. Luckily not related to FinTech, so we can all breathe easy. Recently, the US Air Force was taking a simulation for a drone for killing, identifying and destroying surface-to-air missile installations. The drone, which was flying in a simulated area, was identifying certain things and the operator was telling it to destroy or not destroy. Training. This is a surface-to-air installation. Destroyed? Nope, sorry, this is a house. Do not destroy it. The bot realized that it is getting rewarded for every kill. So what's the next thing it did in the simulation? Killed the operator. It killed the operator. And the US Air Force went, whoa, shit has hit the roof. Let's change this. Okay, let's put in a constraint, machine learning. You cannot kill the operator. You have to listen to the operator. Yes, sir. It destroyed the communication towers first and went on destroying everything that it saw because it got rewarded. The US Air Force put out this article saying, nobody was hurt. This was a simulation. But this can scare you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is reality. And I'm asking a simple question. If we can go this far, can we bypass your biometrics on your phone today? No. This is a silver lining. This is where there is light at the end of the tunnel. ISO 30107 is a standard for all devices which will ensure that there is liveliness detection and depth perception. So an image cannot replace unlocking your phone. These were mandated parameters put in all phones which have biometrics associated with it. I am not here to tell you all we should always hop onto the next technology bandwagon. I love it because that's what I do for a living. A lot of you all can be a potential customer if I just talk about the good part. But I hope I have gone through the good part, the concerns, and the really ugly face of the next generation of artificial intelligence. I can guarantee that technology will rule the roost. Regulations must control how data is used. The data must be protected. These have to be done only through governance, regulations, and strict regulations around this. But the bottom line is that the day is not far when the machines are going to be way smarter than us. As we speak, there is already a post of Elon Musk, Neuralink, which has got FDA clearance for human trials to simulate the human brain. This is as of a few hours ago. This is the pace at which machines are becoming intelligent. But I can say with relative guarantee, they're not going to outsmart us. The image on the side are certain tools that I have kept out there. This is my last slide for you all to realize all the different things that can be done for reading, writing, generating content from generative APIs. I hope I have not scared everyone into using the next technology of AI, and I hope it's enticing enough. I hope it is informative enough. Thank you so much for your time. If there is time, I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I must say it's indeed very, very informative. And it actually brings the pragmatism saying that adoption of technology comes with its own downside. Sometimes, and there's no question of whether we adopt or not, because the actors with whom we have to deal with are already adopting it. So we become, in a sense, it's becomes sort of a mandate for us to be, if not ahead, on the path to counter, because autonomous attacks, right? There's no other way except autonomous technology to prevent those attacks. So the organizations like what you mentioned about privacy, you mentioned about confidentiality. Often organizations, when they hear an idea, they just jump onto the bandwagon and saying, that, okay, let's do that. A lot of regulations in India possibly are not as clear as in the worlds like GDPR and some of the US regulations. What are your 2 cents from your interaction with Indian customers and clients? How they're taking up from managing the biases in the models? Is it still very premature? Because we see so many use cases. FinTechs comes and talk about what digital disruptions, how they're servicing their customers, etc. But in terms of maturity of handling this, what is your sense from the markets that you have served? Because you've served markets which are very mature markets to the some of the FinTechs which are not of the same levels. So any insight on the Indian market especially?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you for the question. There are two aspects to this. The maturity and the mindset of the companies owning the data, and the maturity and mindset of the people supplying the data. Let me talk about the consumers who supply data. This is India. If you sell a rocket which is cheap, फिर भी पूछेंगे data कितना है, mileage. So we are very, very economic conscious. We are cost conscious, which means that the data privacy concept for a consumer is still not as strong as it should be. Point in hand, you go to a restaurant, the person asks you for your phone number, for your mobile number, very particular. We give it if you are going to receive offers. It is reducing. People are understanding the value of sharing data, but we still have a long way to go. Data privacy is important until we realize that concepts like distributed identity, Web3 automatically become a norm in the web going forward. We will not be too conscious about it, but it's happening by default. Part 2 of your question, how are institutions handling data that is given by consumers? As far as the regulation goes, everyone has a clean sheet. Unfortunately, there are, even on Amazon, you have a de-identifier data lake available, which means that you can take all the data, you can remove the identity, you can mask the information which is PII, personal identification information, mask it and churn it. And then there is a soft link which is maintained, which is manually controlled by people who know what is happening. So while there are regulations, there are always ways around it. Maturity of an institution in the terms and conditions are mentioned about ownership of data. There are terms and conditions which are mentioned which belong to the user. But the advent of Web3 or distributed identity which will come in the future is a case where there will be no central authority for our data, and it will be controlled, authenticated and authorized by the owner, that is us. So it will happen. Indian consumers are not yet up there, but I think we will automatically adopt it.
Thanks. While you have opened our eyes on what could be the future destructive, methods of, conning us, how are, companies like you, George Software, trying to mitigate this or, come up with such technologies that you educate us and prevent these kind of things? They will always be one step ahead, definitely. But like, antivirus comes in, when a virus comes in, are you also doing something, while you have opened our eyes?
So while data security is a known problem and is a solved problem, data identity is a known problem, regulations prevent it. Companies like me, we evaluate, we get into the details, and we speak about it. We are far too small, so we are only about 500 people, and in the in the software ITA sector, we are not even a drop in the ocean. But the larger companies, once there is regulatory standards which come around this, ISO, IEC, these are all standards which are coming in. We are by far not in a position to contribute there. I'd love to, but we are not there yet. However, we do our bit to ensure that industry ethics are set up. Our biggest input, my biggest input here would be that companies should come on stage and talk to decision makers like yourselves to be aware. We are not here to solve problems at least. We are here to ensure that you know both sides of the story, because it's very easy to talk about the awesomeness of it, because trust me, it's awesome for me. It will make me a lot of money, a lot of business. But as a moral entrepreneur, it is my duty to ensure that if there is technology, be aware. And for now, that is my goal.
The attack 51 on the blockchain is exactly that. Somebody trying to capture the consensus or the majority of the nodes which will make a decision, and therefore hacking them. Or for example, AI, we've seen so many cases in the markets elsewhere where data poisoning takes place and how you train your model get exposed, or the smart contracts for that matter, the vulnerabilities, coding issues within the smart contracts can expose the entire thing. So I think when the organizations adopt this, it is paramount important that organizations do understand how it impacts their overall strategy and whether it fits within their risk appetite of the organization for which they are taking this forward.
So to add to that, sir, so just to close the gap, distributed identity, consensus attack is a place where you are forcing a situation where answers will not be given, so you resort to a default which is always not in favor of an institution. It used to be called denial of distributed DOS or denial of service attack. Now we have different ways of actually preventing the data. So you had network attacks solved. Now you have data attacks getting solved. Companies have to be aware of this, but at the same time, there was a discussion earlier about claim settlement. Take a simple example here. Claim settlement or insurance renewals both require one piece of data. What was the insurance policy all about? If it's in renewals, you want to know whether there was a no claim bonus. You want to know whether there was some claim. All this stuff resides only within the insurance company today. There are efforts being made to put it on the blockchain or a hyperledger where it's authenticated, authorized use. But this is the change that is needed today. You come across a common public blockchain, which is restricted access with authenticated and authorized insurers, where you update every insurance policy that you have put up, put it onto the blockchain, and support it with the concept of zero knowledge proof. Zero knowledge proof is a concept, to put it very simply, if you want to verify my Aadhaar card today, should I send you a photo of my Aadhaar card? Because I'm actually giving you data and I don't want to. What if there is a decentralized, that means no central ownership of data, where I upload my Aadhaar card, the data belongs to me, there is no central authority around this part, but if you want to verify you ask the system, is Gautam's Aadhaar card valid? And the answer that you get is yes or no. You don't actually get to know my Aadhaar card. This concept of for insurance claims, renewals, settlements can actually be a consensus model put up between different insurance companies within banks for maybe risk profiling, so that it comes across a common use case, a common solution. And this is where a lot of banks will have to interoperate with each other, at the same time not eat at each other's business. I hope that made sense.